American Airlines emergency line. Please state your emergency.
The cockpit's not answering. Somebody's stabbed in business class. And I think there's mates that we can't breathe. I don't know. I think we're getting hijacked.
Somebody hit the World Trade Center or the...
It's a Trade Center.
The World Trade Center.
Center.
There's a fire on the upper floors.
This just in, you were looking at obviously a very disturbing live shot there. That is the World Trade Center, and we have unconfirmed reports this morning
that a plane has crashed into the World Trade Center. We don't know anything more than that. We don't know if it was a commercial aircraft. We have no idea how many were on board or what the extent of the injuries are right now.
Jules, this is Ryan. On an airplane that's been hijacked. If things don't go well, it's not looking good. I just want you to know I absolutely love you. I want you to do good. So happy this time. And I just totally love you. And I'll see you later. Bye, babe. Bye-bye.
Oh my God.
Monday marked the 22nd anniversary of the September 11th attacks. We remember that day. We remember the bravery of those that were involved, those that died, those that assisted. We remember that day today, this week, in fact. We're going to talk a little bit about that. We're also going to talk about the View and their ridicule of Governor Eric Adams pretty much giving a siren call, talking about the immigration crisis happening in New York City. Also, we're going to talk about the New Mexico firearm ban. Also, California's gender-affirming custody agreement that's going down. We're going to talk about McCarthy, House Speaker McCarthy, impeachment of President Biden. He's opened up an inquiry. We are also going to talk about, if you guys have heard, the video that's gone viral of the shashuka lady and no kids. And lastly, today, breaking, a wedding party, fight the police. We're talking about that and more next. Hello. It is Wednesday and it's time for Pop and Politics. We are live talking about the latest in hot topics, news, and entertainment. I'm KJ, along with my amazing co-hosts. We have T and we have Shelly E. All right. Join the conversation by leaving a comment on YouTube, Facebook, or Twitter. We will check the comments periodically throughout the show. And don't just comment, subscribe. Subscribe to our social media so you always know when we post new content. You can also check us out on our website at www.popandpoliticslive.com for up-to-date information. Guys, we are an independent media and a necessary voice in news and entertainment. No. All right. Also, we love you guys. We love our super chatters. We love our subscriptions. We're starting to build a community here. So please share this broadcast, comment throughout the next hour or so, and subscribe. All right, ladies, let's set it off.
Let's go.
So as you guys can see, we started out with the clip of 9/11, September 11th. As I mentioned at the top of the show, this marked the 22nd anniversary of the deadly terror attacks. September 11th, 2001, a day that started like like any other,
Any other day.
but quickly became the deadliest day our nation has ever seen. We witnessed bravery, compassion, selflessness from everyday people, travelers, firefighters, police officers, law enforcement, first responders, fathers, mothers, everyone was assisting and affected by that day. We were united as Americans. You know, it wasn't any political party, it wasn't race. We all had American pride that day. And so we remember that day this week. I want to ask you guys, I'll start with you, Shelley. I mean, just watching the attacks there, I mean, it still takes my breath away. But it makes me think about America on a whole. What does it mean to you to be an American?
Again, when I see those clips too, I still can flash back to just the momentous occasion that it was, the solemn occasion. And it helps me to solidify that much more why America is and should remain exceptional. And I don't take being an American for granted. Well, let me take that back. I do. Especially when I travel abroad, I take my passport seriously. I am honored. I am grateful that I have an American passport. And for the men and women whose lives were snuffed out on those planes, who died in the towers, Shanksville, Pennsylvania, at the Pentagon, in one fell swoop. And it's eerie because I remember where I was, and when I was driving along, actually I was in my master's program at the time, and I was taking a paper to my professor. And when I got to campus, I just remember it being so like silent, right? It was just eerie. You know how campuses are normally bustling with young people and whomever. It was just eerie. And I remember the rest of the day, I was on the phone with family members and we were crying and praying, all kinds of things. And like most people, initially, we thought it was just an airplane crash. But that was soon to be corrected, sadly, almost 3,000 lives later.
Yeah, well, I mean, UT, what does it mean to you to be an American?
But back then, before America has gotten really baseless in society, I thought that America was the greatest country. I used to brag. I used to, people would say, oh, slaves, you should be happy that you're here. Yes, I'm happy that I'm here. Whatever happened, I'm glad that I'm here because I'd rather be here than any other country. I can't believe it's been 22 years.
I know.
No.
Like, that's a whole lifetime.
Yeah, it is. It's older than some of our children.
Yeah. And I remember as well, I was getting ready for my classes at the infamous Florida A&M University, FAMU in Tallahassee, Florida, getting ready for classes. And, after that is when I stopped watching the news. I don't watch the news anymore, but I was watching the news, getting ready for class. And, I saw the headline of this happening. And I'm like, I didn't know how to take it at first. I didn't know, it's a plane crash.
Right.
I didn't realize it would be this momentous at that time.
Yeah, same here. I was about to go to class. I think at the time I was living at home. I was living with my grandmother, and I remember her coming into my room.
We're showing our age too,
I know.
by the way.
I was on my way to class. I was coming, and my grandmother came in and said, "Kena, turn on the news, turn on the news," and that's when I saw it, and it was unreal. Like I couldn't believe that what I was seeing, and then I was so afraid because we live in Maryland, close to DC, and so I was just like, is the house gonna fall? Is something gonna fall on our head, or is this the end? And I just remember thinking that, and then following that, the next several years, it seemed like it just made me. At the time, it just brought everyone together. It was not any, division. We were just all united against, one enemy. At the time we said did it, and so, but it makes me think that I think we can get back there. I do. We're so divided now, but
I'm 50-50 on that. I don't know. I'm kind of like, because I'm 50-50. You're saying yes, he's saying no. I'm kind of 50-50 on that because I think it depends on what the divisions are. because I do have lines that I draw, and I don't make many qualms about that. I am biased about some things. Like I'm biased about adults putting their, can I say it? Okay, putting their private parts in children. That's a line that's not, I can't unite with you on that if that's what you believe. I cannot do that, okay? So so there are some lines I'm going to draw and I will stand on, even if I have to stand by myself. But back to this 9/11, it's interesting. I noticed, I said this is older than some of our children, right? So when I travel sometimes, and I'll tell my child, I'm like, when we used to go to the airports before 9/11, you could literally go to the gate to see off your people or welcome them back in. And my daughter's like, really? Like, she's never known any different than what we have now. Like, oh yeah, it used to be able to just come to the airport. I said, not only
forgotten about that.
People could go to the airport just to have lunch and just to sit, enjoy the shops or whatever. Can't do that anymore.
No.
So TSA wasn't prevalent like it is in the airport. So it's like,
I want to hope that we could, God forbid something else like that ever happened, that we come together. However, it's like your cousins or something. Like, you can fight with your cousins, but don't let somebody else on the outside try to come and fight. So hopefully that's the case, from here on out. But it's a lot of fighting within the family.
Well, we remember this day, or that Monday was the anniversary, but we, kind of think about it all week long and take solace over what occurred. Many people came to DC and Pennsylvania just to commemorate and think about that day and explain it to their children. Our president was in Alaska. He was in Alaska. He did not. I think they said this was the first. Right.
He didn't go to any of the memorial sites. No, not one.
Yeah, and this was the first time, I believe, since the attacks, that a president has not been at one of the sites for September 11th.
I mean, that's correct. But
he was scared.
It's shameful. It's embarrassing. It's really telling the Americans, or at least their family members who lost their lives, and the family and friends who are still living like this. It's basically doing this. It's giving them the middle finger. Last year, I went to the Shanksville Memorial in Pennsylvania.
I remember that.
I went there. I've also gone to the World Towers Memorial before they rebuilt. And the Shanksville Memorial, if you have never gone, please take the drive there. If you're, especially if you're nearby here, Pennsylvania, it's I don't even know the word for it. It's a beautiful memorial in the sense of how much honor it pays to the victims, right? It's beautiful in that sense. Of course, people are there, you're crying and seeing people.
But that's the part. I mean, I understand you're saying it's beautiful, but for me, I want to leave that where it is. Like, I don't go and visit loved ones at cemeteries. For me, I just don't see the
I think it's like a historical reference.
That's why I went.
Yeah, that's what I would think. Well, but I see what you're saying as well. But we commemorate. Yeah, we commemorate, and because it's good for I read an article saying how a lot of the younger generation don't know, they're not caught up with it, not studying it as much in school. And so that's something good too.
That's what they need to be studying instead of critical race theory.
Right.
Exactly.
Right. So we commemorate the day, and just wanted to mention it and remind you guys, our viewers, to share our thoughts with you all with that. So we're going to get right into it. Speaking of New York, we are going to New York to talk about the immigration crisis there. So this is our counter view segment.
Let's go.
Yes.
It's hard. You're cute and submissive. It's hard. I am a man repellent. It's hard. Because all I do is go to gay events and drag shows and
anything to make a buck, save a buck. Anything to make a buck.
It's hard.
Yeah, so that is our counter view segment. This is a segment where we take something from the View that they have spewed this week or recently, and we respond to it. And so this one is going to be pretty epic. So this is regarding their response to Mayor Eric Adams, as I mentioned at the top of the show, pleading with help talking about how he has not gotten any help from the Biden administration, and they have a serious epidemic crisis going on in New York City due to the immigrant onslaught that they've had. Take a look here of what they're doing as they talk about it.
A little dramatic, isn't it? Seems a bit dramatic.
He's got a flair for drama.
Yeah, but he has been critical of the Biden administration for months. He doesn't get support from the government, he's saying. And the Republicans love this, because this is right up their alley for somebody like a New York sanctuary city to be complaining about migrant problem. So let me ask you a question. Is he right? Who should take the blame for all of this now? Because there are about 100,000 migrants in New York City right now, and people keep coming. You have to understand, these are desperate people. These are not people who are coming here because they, feel like it. They're not tourists.
All right, you were going down. Okay. So that was Joy. And you heard what she said, pretty dramatic. I want to play what he actually said because we do have a clip of that. Take a look at what he actually said, Mayor Eric Adams, because I want you guys to understand the immediate, what would you call that?
The
urgency,
the urgency
that he was talking about, right? And how she responded to that.
We're here. We're getting no support on this national crisis, and we're receiving no support. And let me tell you something, New Yorkers. Never in my life have I had a problem that I did not see an ending to. I don't see an ending to this. I don't see an ending to this. This issue will destroy New York City. Destroy New York City. We're getting 10,000 migrants a month. One time we were just getting Venezuela. Now we're getting Ecuador. Now we're getting Russian speaking coming through Mexico. Now we're getting Western Africa. Now we're getting people from all over the globe have made their minds up that they're going to come through the southern part of the border and come into New York City. And everyone is saying it's New York City's problem. Every community in this city is going to be impacted. We got a $12 billion deficit that we're going to have to cut. Every service in this city is going to be impacted. All of us.
That is what Joy Behar said. A little dramatic, don't you think?
10,000? I don't know.
A little dramatic, don't you think? This man, did you hear what he said?
Yeah.
He said that they have people coming in from Russia, China,
Africa,
worldwide, basically.
So who knows who these people are? Yeah. They're coming in through the southern border. And she said, a little dramatic, don't you? Yes, he's going to be dramatic. And let me tell you why he's dramatic. Back in February, according to the New York Post, an internal City Hall memo said Biden's open border will cost New York City taxpayers $4.2 billion through the middle of next year, double Mayor Adams' previous estimate. And those costs won't stop even if Washington magically decides to start enforcing the immigration laws, because millions are already here. Exactly. That is why he is dramatic.
So again, like the spew, like you said, like the biddies on The View, this New York is being severely impacted. But I have a couple of things I want to say. This immigration issue, I'm going to call it the illegal immigration issue, is the result of both parties ignoring it. It goes back to Republicans and Democrats, and I'll tell you why. Way back in 1995, right? Oh. This is an article from the National Institutes of Health. Okay, remember, follow the science, right? Even at that time, Americans were being put in the bill of $12 to $16 billion a year for illegal immigration to cover education, incarceration, and other services. That was 95, right? So Mayor Adams is experiencing this, and remember, Mayor Adams, New York City was a sanctuary city. Go ahead. No, they were sanctuary cities. So now that the immigration, the illegal immigrants are being spread across the country to these sanctuary states or cities, they're feeling the brunt of it. I'm not happy that they're feeling the brunt of it because I'm against illegal immigration. What needs to happen is that there needs to be a wall. But remember, there was a president named Trump who said build the wall, because who said that? And nobody, people, or at least on the left, they were all, doing backflips because he's being racist and bigoted or whatever. These people need to go home. Mr. Fox down in Mexico, he tried to, connect with him. This was going on since 2001. President Vicente Fox met with George Bush at that time to make some kind of agreement. Again, over the years, both parties have taken their hands off of this because it has been used to their benefit. Maybe the left more so than the Republicans, but neither party is immune from what we are suffering now. And who's paying the bill? We are taxpayers. We're paying for New York. He's talking about going to the federal government. Where does the federal government get money from?
How can you blame the Republicans or the conservatives for this?
Because they haven't done in Congress. They have not supported securing our borders. This is a congressional act. Our borders, our southern border, however many miles it is, needs to be protected. These are U.S. borders.
It's a fight. It's always a fight in Congress.
Yeah, it is, but
they're trying.
No, they're not. No, I don't think they're trying enough.
I agree. The immigration system is broken, and it must be addressed. However, we have not seen this much.
Yeah, no.
This much in years, not in the last 4 years. I mean, not ever.
I agree.
It has never been this right.
I agree.
It's a swarm. It is.
I agree.
And they are swarming the border now because, again, Biden has put forth the Batman call and say, come here, everybody.
Right. And where do you think the people from the Russians are coming? The Russians and the Ukrainians, why are they coming? Because of what's going on over there. And I know we're not getting into that tonight, but my point is that these people are leaving their countries for whatever reason, but they need to be stopped at the U.S. border. A judge just made the governor of Texas order that he should remove those barriers in the Rio Grande. Why? And not only that, the governor of Texas has the power to command the National Guard to his borders. Damn what Biden says. It's still the Texas border as well. So let's use the resources that we do have. I don't care what state is in. Mayor Adams, he needs to ship them back to them over there to 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue.
Well, I want you guys to, if we could.
Flawless victory. Fatality.
Yeah, I want to play this next clip because The View believes we should have open borders. Take a look here. Take a look. This is the next clip here.
War-torn countries and politically torn countries, and they're looking for refuge. And I thought this country, with its big, Statue of Liberty, give me your week, and all of this, is supposed to be the country that accepts people.
Yes.
And I'm disappointed in Mayor Adams. I understand that there's a problem. Lawmakers in New York also set aside more than $1.5 billion to aid the city this last legislative session.
How much?
$1.5 billion.
You're disappointed. You're disappointed. This man needs help. He is crying. This is who we have. What do you mean? We are no longer a new nation. We are not a new nation looking to build. We are several hundred years of old, and we don't need
illegal
swarm of illegal immigrants. Not only that, let me just say this really quick. The people that are coming here are not the immigrants of the 1900s. Most of these people do not have any type of education,
the skills,
the skills. They generally end up on social services.
Exactly.
So we have a swarm of these people coming in already to our burdensome social services system, and then you're going to add more people onto it. This isn't helping. No, we don't need. Give me your needy. Give me your weary.
No, they are the left, Sonny. How about this? Let's send some of them to her house.
Yeah,
she has plenty of room from what
she has a gate or border.
I'm sure she does, right? But they always use the poem that's inscribed on the Statue of Liberty, the tablets, whatever, and it says, "Give me your poor, your tired, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free. It doesn't say give me your people and let us take care of them from cradle to grave.
Especially when we can't take care of our own people.
Right.
We have a homelessness since inflation, since the pandemic. We have this epidemic of homelessness going on, especially in California, especially in New York. And it's like they don't care about those people. The veterans, for example, you don't care about the people that are already here who are citizens who have been paying taxes or who have been, and they're homeless now. I guess don't pay taxes now. But the fact that take care of your own before you can take care of any. And these people, they don't care. They know that they can come here and use our resources. Exactly. They don't care about America. Right. They don't care about us. They just want to get their and dump their babies on us.
Exactly.
Right. And all of them are pregnant.
I don't remember the source, but I read within the last week, even in New York, right? They have so many school children now. The illegal immigrants are speaking Spanish for the most part, right? Or whatever other language they may speak, but they don't even have the teachers to be able to teach them in their language, so they can't understand, which means the American students are being separated and housed in the worst conditions, putting these illegal immigrants. They're not migrants. They're not new Americans. They are illegal immigrants.
They put their needs above our own children. For example, in Anne Arundel County, in order to get in pre-K, they have a certain amount of tiers. Right. One of the tiers is you don't speak English.
Whoa.
Like my child can't get pre-K education because this motherfucker don't speak English. That's not fair.
No, that's not. Right. And not only that, but the goal of these women on The View. I don't understand how anybody can listen to them respond to this mayor who is talking about how he is in need, how he is saying he usually can get through this type of stuff, but he's looking at the situation and saying, we are in trouble. Right. This is a Democrat. And they just turn him away
because he's attacking Biden, and that's their little, that's their ace in the hole. The degenerate, literally degenerate. I'm talking about in the cognitive sense. That's their guy. So he's attacking Biden, so they're going to attack him. The enemy of my enemy is my friend.
Right, but they're not. They surely are not for the people in New York.
No, anytime somebody makes sense, they attack them. Exactly. Which I don't get. Where's the disconnect? And hey, I need help because these 10,000
a month.
Like, how many buses is that? Somebody do the math.
I'll tell you
where are they coming from?
They're getting buses almost every day. Every week.
That's more resources that they're putting into these people.
Yeah, and look at the cost.
Exactly.
According to the New York Post, they said here lifetime cost for taxpayers soars past $200 billion.
Exactly.
How big is $200 billion? It's equal to the entire gross domestic product of New Zealand or Greece or Peru. The budget of New York, a city of 8.5 million for 2 years.
Yes.
5 years of funding for NYC schools. Roughly 41% of what the nation spends on welfare overall in a year. A bit dramatic, as Joy said. You nasty bitch.
Exactly.
That's what you are. You don't give a damn about anybody. All you guys want is power, and you want to keep your old nasty pink peach president in office who doesn't care anything about the United citizens of America. He doesn't.
God forbid you actually care about your constituents and you actually want them to have a good
They don't even care about the immigrants.
That's what I'm saying.
They don't care about these illegal immigrants. They want all these people here so they can bribe them to change this country so it will be not America anymore.
Right.
That's what they want.
Take them to their houses. Take them to the views. Not even their houses. Take them to the set of the View. Let them stand outside the gates of where they produce from. I bet you they will have more security there than all the guns that they want to get rid of. They will have armed security there, keeping those people off of their property.
Protect our borders of the studio.
Exactly.
Now they want to protect the borders.
That's what they'll protect.
That's definitely what needs to happen.
Protect this house. That's what Under Armour says. Or they will protect their houses from these people.
Yeah.
They want to sound good and look like they're saying the right things in this fake compassion. They don't give a damn.
Right. And then they want to take away our guns. So we got all these, just in Pennsylvania today. I don't know if you guys have been following the news. They just, an illegal immigrant was put in jail in Pennsylvania. He escaped jail. And it was a manhunt for him for the past several days, like a week. They finally found him today. But he had killed. I think he had killed 2 people. He had murdered somebody in Brazil.
Something like,
yeah. I mean, give me your weary, give me your weak. I mean, this is
give me your murderers.
Yeah, exactly. We have to move on, but we will continue to follow this story. Again, we are all conservative here, and
but we have
Republican.
Sense. Like, it ain't got nothing to do with the political affiliation. What makes sense? And I don't understand why these people on The View don't see it. Where's the disconnect in common sense and reality?
Yeah, exactly. So we will continue to follow this story. Moving right along to idiots. We're in California.
More
now.
idiots.
Uh-oh. Exactly. So a California bill, according to the New York Post, would require judges hearing custody disputes to consider whether parents affirm their child's gender identity, a move that legal experts say could disadvantage parents with religious or other objections on treating children with gender identity crisis. The Democrat-led California General Assembly and Senate last week passed Bill 957. It's already passed, known as the Transgender, Gender Diverse, and Intersex Youth Empowerment
What
Act.
the hell is that?
When they start coming up with them long names, it doesn't make sense.
Governor Newsom is expected to sign the bill into law by October 14th deadline. Under legislation, a judge presiding over a custody case would have to consider gender affirmation in evaluating the best interest of the child, the legal standard in determining who should have guardianship of a child. Get your children, your asses out of California.
Out.
Anyone that stays there, I don't know. And if you have children, I don't know how you do it. Because they're no longer yours.
Well, they belong to the people too. They've been bleeding people too. The people literally migrating from California to Texas, Nevada, and other states. So I think it was like 800,000 people a year or last year left California. But this judge, this is what I don't get. It's okay for a judge to tell a parent, I'm going to take your child because you're not, quote unquote, affirming his or her gender. But it's not okay for a judge to tell a woman, no, you can't abort your baby. See, if a judge did that, they want to take that, they want to leave that in the Supreme Court's hand to say it's okay. But if a judge says, no, woman, you can't do that, you have to give that father some rights or whatever, all hell would break loose because my body, my choice, right? Mm-hmm. But yet a parent who actually has a child, they're going through some mental health crisis. Okay, right. I'm not even going to say gender identity crisis. That child is having some kind of crisis. A judge now gets to come in and tell you you can't parent your child, that your child knows best. Your child all of a sudden thinks that he is a girl when he was a boy and vice versa, and going to take your child. This is my charge to anybody. When is enough enough?
Yes.
When is enough?
I want to ask you this, T, because the congresswoman that led this charge, this weirdo looking woman.
It's always the women.
And she was black. It was a black woman. She was bald as an eagle. Again, they have this android look. Mm-hmm. And she said that it is the parents' job to affirm children. Do you believe that? You have to affirm your child.
It's a parent's job to love their child. It's a parent's job to raise this child and to become productive citizens that have sense. Affirm, if you want to affirm that, oh, my child is great, she can do anything she wants. But affirm them to change their sexual identity. That's not affirmation. That's mental illness.
It is.
And I'd be seeking help for my child.
Exactly. And parents, do you affirm everything your child comes in and asks you to do?
No. First of all, the language of the bill, this idea of affirm, which some critics are pointing out, what does this mean? Right. Because if you take it what they mean for this bill, then technically, anytime you say no to your child, then that judge can say, well, you're not affirming anything they want to do. Mommy, I want to go jump off the roof. Mommy, I want to go play in the traffic. Oh, well, honey, I affirm you. I mean, it's ludicrous.
No, seriously, like it is. And I'm thinking, like, how does this even happen? Like, I don't even have the words because I'm literally thinking with common sense, maybe that's the problem. But how does this even seem okay to people? Who is this judge that woke up this morning and said, you know what? I'm going to make sure this bill is passed, or I'm going to make sure that we affirm our children.
The Congress, they passed the Congress.
Well, they passed the law,
No.
but to your point, these people come into office. They come into office. Some judges are elected, some are appointed in different states, things like that.
Right.
But it's the underlying value system. We started off with 9/11 about America. Well, Americans are confused about what it means to be an American nowadays. Not only that, for years, we have had and allowed our government to really be in charge of us when that should never be the case. But we have done that, and we've done it for when it's convenient for us to do so, and then the other side when it's convenient. Now, as they say, the chickens are coming home to roost. So now we have to get back to what are the fundamentals, what is our constitutional, what are our rights, and who gets to decide for how we parent our children. Short of abuse, I'm not saying, again, those are the extremes. The abuses, things like that, that's one thing. But your normal, average, regular parenting with your values, that was never intended for the government to decide whether or not you should be able to do that.
Shelley, we've lost control. We've lost control of our families. We've lost control of the world. We've lost control of goodness. We've lost control of society. And I don't think, I mean,
this is what you were talking about earlier. We might not be able to,
we're not coming back from it.
That's because the number one way where we've strayed is we've made God government. That is the number one thing. And number two, government God, right.
Right.
And number two, you have these liberals, I think they said this on The View before, and other leftists say Republicans are fascists. They don't understand the meaning of fascism.
No, they don't.
Fascism is when you give power and control to the state, to the government. It's when you take away someone's constitutional rights, like they're doing, which we're going to talk about a little bit, like they're doing in New Mexico, the government try to do. It's when you try to take a parent's parental rights away, like they're trying to do in California. The left are fascists.
Exactly.
These Democrats are fascists. Right. This is fascism. The right, Republicans are not fascists. We understand that small government means more power to the people. Individual rights is what we stand
When I say stuff like that, oh, you're a rebel and you're radical. Guess what? Yeah,
maybe so. Okay.
I am.
Yeah, fascism is telling municipalities and states that you cannot cross state line because it's an emergency due to the COVID.
Right.
It's shutting down restaurants.
Or when your country is being bombed in Maui, or your city is being bombed, you can't leave here because we want you to go back and turn around so you can get burned up.
That's fascism. When the government is directing you and telling you what you need to do.
And add to that, when the people actually believe that's what they're supposed to do, like they don't have an individual conscience or mind to say, no, I'm going to push back, right? So when you have generations, at least two of our generations have been programmed or reprogrammed to think that only the government is right in whatever they say or do.
Right.
So when you're not using your own faculties, your God-given faculties, since we are made in the image of God, right? When there's a replacement, nature abhors a vacuum. So when you take out something else is going to fill it. In this case, government has become the God that you were talking about, KJ.
Yeah, we need that revolution that we've always been talking about.
Yeah, we certainly do. Because people throw around this fascist term all the time. I actually have a definition here. It states here, fascism is first characterized by a belief in the moral imperative of the centralized state. This means that fascism sees both economic and individual freedoms as antithetical to the good when they challenge the power of the state. It's characterized by a belief in nationalism, or its most virulent form, racial hierarchy. So this is what the whole pandemic, the way they use government to take away our rights and increase the power of government, that is fascism. Democrats are fascists.
It's the frog in the pot, the slow boiling pot.
This alphabet community agenda that's leading the push to all of this.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Why? We got to think why. And I know most of the people here probably agree with us, but we want to hear from the people who don't agree with us.
Right. Yeah.
And answer those damn questions. Right. Why? If you think about it.
Yeah. Not only is California doing that, but there's the I believe it's the what's his 1 second. Okay. It's also California's Attorney General, Rob Bonta. He's trying to do something too. He sued Southern California School District over its new policy that sensibly requires schools to notify parents within 3 days when their child requests to be treated as the opposite or neither sex.
So he's trying to stop them from notifying parents.
He's trying to stop them from notifying parents.
Yeah.
Again, taking away parental rights. Get out of California.
Get out of California, out of public schools.
Yeah.
They, meaning the government, whatever state, whatever this, and it happens to be America, they want your children. They do not think or believe that your children belong to you and God and your family. No, your children belong to the government to raise and reprogram to be cogs in this godless, diabolical system. That's what they want.
Yeah, exactly. But then the left criticize and demonize Governor Ron DeSantis in Florida. He stopped all of that. You know, with his bill, what they call "Don't Say Gay," but he enshrined parental rights into state law. Is what he did.
Exactly.
And people, talk about him, on the left and call him all kinds of names, but he stood up for parents.
Yeah.
He stood up for parents.
Yeah.
And so, whatever you want to call him, you can't say he does not affirm parental rights.
Right.
So we're going to keep looking into that, but I'll say it again. I think I've said it multiple times. Get out of California. Get out now. They're already bending you over tax-wise.
I was going to
so it's not like if you can't afford there, then you can't afford anywhere. Because if you can afford living in California, you can live anywhere else in the United States. Get out of there. Get out of there.
For no reason.
All right, we are moving right along. Again, our night tonight, we really want to shine a light on these leftist policies, these authoritarian people. That's what they are. And they're trying every way they know how to strip us of any individual freedom that we have.
They want us as robots, automatons, just peons, cogs, whatever you want to call it. They want us, like I call it the Borg, Star Trek fans, the Borg, so that we don't have any individual way of even thinking that we are going to dissent from their diabolical policies.
Yeah. And if this takes
on a string.
Yeah,
whatever we want them to do.
Yeah. And this takes us to New Mexico. So New Mexico Governor Michelle Grisham issued a 30-day ban on the right to carry firearms in public across Albuquerque and the surrounding counties following a string of recent gun violence. So people with concealed carry permits may still transport guns to some private locations, such as a gun range or a gun store, if the firearm has a trigger lock or mechanisms that prevent it from being charged. However, those who do not abide by the restrictions could face a fine up to $5,000. Now, breaking news out today.
A federal judge.
A federal judge temporarily blocked the New Mexico governor's executive order barring concealed and open carry of firearms. So it's been blocked, but this is what they're trying to do.
So what's interesting about this is that she had Democrats and Republicans, conservatives, leftists, liberals pushing back at her. And this is a Democrat governor in New Mexico, right? This edict that let me take that back. What do you call it? An emergency order. See, this idea of emergency orders, the pandemic, the scamdemic was a pilot test. It was a pilot test. Now they're going to use emergency orders for anything, right? But so her orders only affected the city of Albuquerque, if I'm not mistaken, right? So like you said, you could only transport it to the range. So if you had legal permits to use your firearm, open carry, however it is in New Mexico, or concealed carry, you were barred. I don't know, did we have a clip of her talking about, she had a press conference. First of all, the sheriff said he was not going to enforce it. The attorney general, I think, said that he was not going to enforce it there.
Right.
And like you said, the judge just suspended it temporarily until they go to court. But in her press conference, this idiot said, she was asked by the press, well, is this going to stop the bad guys? She said, no. She said no. She said no. She admitted it, right? But because of her emotional reaction, this had nothing to do with stopping bad guys. It has everything to do with her being used by the Democrat Party as a test case to see if they could easily get this done so that they can replicate it across the country. That's what this was about.
And this is why I will never vote for a woman.
Oh.
I'm saying I will never, because they're easily manipulated
Okay.
based on emotions. And so I don't care if it's what side it's on. I wouldn't vote for a woman. I support their idea. Go girl, do what you do, but I would never vote for a woman.
Yeah.
Especially in this great country of America.
Yeah.
But so here we are in New Mexico. Like it's the criminals, right? The criminals are the ones who have the guns.
Yeah.
So you're saying they're not gonna care about your suspension
And she
order.
admitted that.
They're not going to care about your order to ban guns. They're going to keep guns anyway. That's in New Mexico, New York, new anywhere.
Right. Yeah.
So what's the point?
There is a point. And as you mentioned, Shelley, the point is it was a test run. The scamdemic was a test run to see how much power the government could have and that they could take away from the individuals.
Exactly.
And guess what? We failed.
Yeah,
we failed.
Largely, we did.
We did. The United States people here failed miserably.
We did
miserably because if we had any sense, we would have been in the streets and protesting and kicking back against them trying to push down these edicts.
Hold on. They were in the streets protesting, but not for the right thing. They were protesting George Floyd, but they couldn't protest some crap where we want our freedoms to be able to breathe through these damn masks.
Right.
I was doing that.
Yeah,
I was doing that here in Maryland, but you're right. It was a big test case. So now they have the left, the Democrats largely, but the left in general have no limits to what they will think to do and implement. All of their policies, again, we said this last week. Obama said it. We are 5 days away from fundamentally transforming the United States of America. This is all part of that transformation. Yeah. And again, and to our utter dismay, too many of our fellow Americans still think that the government is right and the government has the answers. And as long as they're taking care of me, they're going to feed my children. They're going to feed me lunch. They're going to give me breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snacks. And
they're going to kill you.
Yeah. Right. Not only that, but you know who you just sound like you're describing? A monkey in the goddamn zoo. That's what zoo animals do. Yep. You get your food. Yep. You get you get clean. Right. They provide everything for you.
Yeah. And give you a little space where you can shit. Yeah. And piss. And hopefully it's not in your own food. Right. But you
can't even procreate. You can't even have sex.
No,
well, they don't want you to have sex.
But the monkeys get to do it in front of the class.
Right. Well, that's what they want to do anyway. They went out to the desert of California. What you think they were doing? Having sex with each other, Burning Man. That's all that was. Like a bunch of monkeys.
That's
having sex. But this is what I'm saying. And this is just the beginning. This is just the beginning. And we're going to talk to you guys in an upcoming episode about this commuter, smart streets. Yeah, we're going to talk about that in an upcoming episode. But I challenge you all to research smart streets. It's already implemented all over the country. Yep. This is the new wave. Now they're trying to get rid of cars.
Yeah, they're trying to get rid. We talked a couple weeks ago. We talked about how they're trying to get rid of individual homes, right? They want to put you in make your home basically an open door group home or dorm for the illegals and whomever else. The government wants total control. They want total control. So I have another charge for you all. Speak whatever you want, say whatever the hell you want, okay? Even if YouTube and Facebook don't like it, carry your guns if you want, get your training. I'm always going to say that, get your training, get your education, practice or whatever, but carry your guns legally, because guess what? The criminals don't give a damn about your life, and neither does the government.
No, they don't. And we need to, I don't care who you vote for in 2024, don't vote for a Democrat. These people, whether it's Biden, whether it's cackling Kamala, whether it's the snake-looking Gavin Newsom, I would never vote for them.
I'm going to say this. if you don't vote Republican, you're not American.
Oh,
You heard it from me.
that's right. That's right.
That's right.
And expand on that. Why?
Because we had
That's right.
a current president said, if you don't vote,
right.
you ain't black, don't vote for him. So if you don't vote Republican, you're not American.
Right. Yeah,
Let's keep that same energy.
No, I'll say it, and I'll take it even further. If you vote Democrat, you a monkey who belongs in the zoo.
Yeah, I mean they are jackasses,
because
right?
This is what they
Isn't that their
I say monkey. I call them monkeys. You're monkey Democrats who all you want to do.
They say monkey see, monkey do.
All you want to do is you want to be bathed. You want to be clothed. You want to be fed. You're a bunch of monkeys.
Right.
Right.
It really comes down to being an informed voter.
Well, let me tell you, I'm giving you the okay. I'm giving you the okay.
I'm a black woman.
Somebody tells you they're voting Democrat in 2044, you call it you old monkey.
Oh my God. It really comes down to this. There are literally two worldviews at odds, right? There are two worldviews. You have to make the decision. Am I doing what's best for my country, or am I doing what's best for this party, whatever this allegiance is, because I don't want to be, called, or you didn't vote for a Democrat. You got to think about the party, not just, and again, no party is perfect. We're not talking about perfection, but it comes down to two worldviews: God, country, family, or is it going to be diabolical government ruling my life and me being a robot?
Yeah. We're getting in trouble by our producers.
Right.
We always say too much.
I want to acknowledge our super chatter. Thank you so much. Yes, we have a super chatter here. Giovanni Patterson. Love y'all. Oh, thank you. Yes, thank you so much. Thanks for watching.
Love you too, Giovanni.
Yes, we do. All right, and we have another super chatter here. Emmanuel. He said, "Hey y'all, hey." Thank you so much.
We got one more.
Oh, we have one more. Oh my.
We got
What a jutsu.
I remember him. Once again, you are all on point.
Thank you. Thank you so much. All right. So
I saw Mr. Churchill over there somewhere.
Oh yeah, he did say something.
All right. So we will continue to monitor that. Please, if you haven't done so already, please subscribe. That way you get up-to-the-minute updates on when we comment, when we post new content. Hit the notification bell. Every time we premiere or we post live content, you will be made aware. So we certainly appreciate you guys. We love doing this.
Oh, yeah.
We are spreading truth. We are truthers. And I kid a little bit. Honestly, I'm not kidding about the Republican Democrat stuff. Yeah. I really believe Democrats are evil. And I know I have family members that are Democrat. I'm talking about the machine of the Democrat Party.
They're very misguided at the least.
Democrat policy, people in policy in the Democrat Party are evil. And so, I may, play around and joke and say, these people are monkeys, but they actually believe these people don't care about you. They don't care about us. They don't care about the citizens. They care about power. If they cared about us, they would get rid of Nancy old ass Pelosi and other one in California, Dianne Feinstein,
and Fetterman.
But on the other end, we need to get rid of Mitch McConnell too.
Well, he's not as old as them yet, though.
But
we can trade him.
Let's
trade all of
Mitt
them.
Romney is not running again, so Mitt Romney is not going to run again.
Oh, good.
Well, Mitch McConnell needs to sit down somewhere.
Yeah. But a lot of these old, degenerative, like you said, are in the Democrat Party, and they're holding on to power. If that doesn't show you power-hungry people, I don't know what does.
Right.
So these people don't have the best interests of the citizenry. Citizenry.
Citizenry.
Oh God. No more drinking.
You know what I love about us is this is real time. This is how we act in person. Like we're all on YouTube or whatever, but this is us.
No, it's not. It's the tequila.
No, it's us. Don't let Shelly fool y'all.
All right.
We're in trouble.
Okay.
What do we do?
We are moving right along. We are.
Oh my God! You should, if you ever see our producer, he is having a fit over here.
What do we do?
What do we do?
So we are moving right along to the impeachment of Biden. So
Let's do it.
Biden, another octogenarian. So mainstream media, even liberal media now, are calling for Biden to step down because it has become clear, yes, based on polls, that Trump would win. He and Trump are in a neck-to-neck matchup now. So the latest call is David Ignatius. He is a reporter, I believe, for the Washington Post, where he has called for Joe and Kamala not to run in 2024. He is a well-known, on the leftists love him, and he has called for them to step down. And also, Republicans are also trying to impeach Joe Biden for selling out the country overseas through his son. So this week, House Speaker Kevin McCarthy announced the opening of an impeachment inquiry into President Joe Biden.
Yes.
Thoughts?
Yes.
I'll go to you, T.
How many times have we seen presidents get impeached? Yeah, they get impeached, but then it's like, all right, we're going to move on to the next thing.
Yeah.
I mean, but I'm happy this is happening.
Yeah.
Like, finally, we got one for Joe Biden. It's long overdue.
Yeah. So what I find interesting is that now the Bidens and the White House are trying to get the media to bid their case for them that McCarthy shouldn't be opening this inquiry. They want the media to do all this bidding for them. Number one, the media. Number two, they're saying that this shouldn't be done and this is a political witch hunt. I'm sorry, that kind of sounds like very familiar to me, right? It sounds a little familiar to me, that language. So it's okay for them to go after Trump. Again, whether or not you think he's guilty or the bad guy, that's irrelevant. The point is that they are going after him as a political witch hunt for this man that they do not want as their opponent, because I think that Trump can win.
Yeah.
And like I said, we have made no qualms on here. I voted for Trump twice, and I will vote for him again if he is the nominee. I will pull the lever or sign the name or whatever, check the box, not even holding my nose. I'm going to do it honorably. But this degenerative, cognitive declined man who wants to be in the White House again, and he's not really running. It's really Obama and Valerie Jarrett and other people who are doing, maneuvering him. Now he's saying that an inquiry, just an inquiry, should not even be open into the dealings with him and his druggy son sucking up all the damn cocaine forever on earth.
And to what you said, to date, no president has ever been forced from the White House through impeachment. But former Republican President Richard Nixon resigned in 1974, but the House was preparing to vote for impeachment of him. So they impeach in the House, but not in the Senate.
Right, the Senate convicts.
Right, Senate convicts. So, I mean, that's that. But, the crazy thing about it is I personally believe we have enough evidence to impeach Biden.
I think you do too.
Yeah,
So what is the impeachment based on again?
So the inquiry, they're looking into all of his dealings with Ukraine and Hunter, the payments, and they have more, thankfully, thanks to Congressman Comer, who's been getting all this evidence. They have phone calls, they have some records. I think they have some offshore bank accounts now that they can link to Biden, the president, getting money from Hunter, who had no skills except knowing how to snort really well over in Ukraine to get money. Basically, it was extortion and corruption that they were doing over in Ukraine. And this was all like a payback scheme to keep it all under wraps.
Right. I mean, and you have this idea where Hunter forged relationships with his father's aides in China and Ukraine. He would call in the business meetings. We have this in emails talking about the weather. And then Hunter, of course, was on the board of Burisma, where he was paid an extraordinary amount of money. In return, he promised connection with his father. He not only that, but we have I think it was the email or the voicemail,
emails, phone calls,
right,
yeah,
with his daughter Naomi in 2019, where he said, and I quote, "I hope you all can do what I did and pay for everything for this entire family for 30 years. It's really hard, but don't worry. Unlike Pop, I won't make you give me half your salary.
So leave it up to the crackhead in the family to mess stuff up.
Yeah.
It's always the crackhead in the family.
Exactly.
Now we have one in the White House.
Exactly. Yeah, you're exactly right. So, this is a cover up beyond what we've seen, the likes of, I believe.
And not only that, remember, this started, or at least this Ukraine stuff, when he was vice president. Mm-hmm. So he wasn't even president at the time. This has been going on for some time. Mm-hmm. Joe Biden, some people say, is probably the most corrupt president in modern history in America.
Starting with his 1994 crime bill.
Oh, right.
Going back to his history.
Everything that Joe Biden has done has been for Biden, for himself, for him and his family, I guess, to a degree, but certainly to boost his own power, his own status, certainly to line his bank account.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I want to ask you guys.
Mad at that?
Yeah.
I mean, of course, because he's
not making. You don't.
Right.
The government does not create money.
Right.
They tax and then spend.
And he's getting this money using illegal means, using the power of his office just to do the corruption in Ukraine and get the backdoor payments.
Right. Yeah. Right. Now, I want to ask you guys your thoughts on, because this week, Matt Gaetz, Congressman Matt Gaetz, he came out and he's upset. Remember, we did cover the vote for speakership. Yes. And it was a volatile vote. We were up all night watching it, like many of you may have. And one of the conditions of him getting speakership was that he was going to do,
give consent, all the consensus and things like that.
And so, I mean, I'm not a Matt Gaetz fan, but what he said, I was kind of on board with. I mean, he said, you haven't had any subpoena. We got subpoena power. I mean, this impeachment inquiry does not require, it doesn't give you any.
This is a formal inquiry.
Right. But I mean, before this was announced, they were able to subpoena. We haven't seen them subpoena anyone. They haven't subpoenaed Hunter Biden, the Congress, the Republicans in Congress. They have this budget coming up. They're supposed to do a balanced budget again. He wants to shut down the budget or shut down the government if that's not met. I mean, a lot of things he listed that haven't been done.
So when I saw that Matt Gaetz clip, and I thought that this was sort of a technicality, because he said McCarthy didn't get the consensus of whatever the committees are, right? All the House, the votes for the House to open the inquiry, but he doesn't have to have a votes to open an inquiry. He does have that right as Speaker to do that, and it does not preclude them from still issuing subpoenas. So I didn't understand. So I didn't understand Matt Gaetz's. I'm going to call it his performance.
Well, he was saying that they didn't need an impeachment inquiry to subpoena people.
So they still don't. So do it.
He's upset that they have not done it.
Well, do it. Do it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's what I'm saying.
That's what he said.
This doesn't preclude them from still doing that. This is, I guess I would say, maybe an additional tool that they can use.
Right. He feels
get
like
busy doing it.
Right, but he can't do it alone. They have to have votes to do it.
Well, that's not McCarthy's fault. It's how many Republicans are there? Again, Republicans are taking the low-level, backdoor, cowardly approach. Get busy, damn it. Do it.
Yeah. I think that's what he's saying. He wants done, but there's, for some reason, the procedural methods of
you're trying.
The procedural methods that are supposed to be involved, they can't get done without the speaker. But I don't know. So we'll continue to follow that. But it sounds like there's going to be a lot coming up within the House.
I'm going to put on a nice little cute dress and go down to whenever they having these sessions and lobby. Personally lobby for whatever you need. Just let us know what we need as conservatives, and I'll go and lobby.
All right, we'll continue to follow it. Please continue to comment, and subscribe. Share this broadcast. Share it with your liberal friends or your leftist friends. Yes, and maybe they'll comment. We love to debate and discuss different issues. So certainly share, and subscribe. All right, so we are coming to the end of the night. We do have a viral video that we want you guys to take a look at. This is a woman who is talking about her lifestyle and all of the best things about not having kids. Take a look at this.
It's 10:45 a.m. on a Saturday. I am 29 and single, and I don't have kids yet. Here's what your Saturday morning looks like when you're single at 29 and you don't have a kid running around the house. I didn't rise from my bed until 10:15. Every time I thought, I should probably get up and do something, I thought, why? Nobody's making me. I'm not missing out on anything. I went to Beyonce last night, and I didn't get home until 1 a.m., and I danced and drank my little heart out, and I didn't pay a babysitter to watch my kids as I did that. And I woke up a tad hungover this morning, which is probably why I was in bed for so long. And I was just scrolling on my phone and I saw a picture of shashuka and I thought, you know what sounds really good? Maybe I'm gonna learn how to make shashuka today. Because I have no plans and I don't have kids and I don't have a husband and I don't have errands to run. I can go to the grocery store and learn how to make shashuka. So that's on my agenda today. Also on my agenda, probably a rewatch of some Real Housewives of New York. I'm also doing a rewatch of Normal People on Hulu, which is really spicy and I highly recommend. Weirdly, I'm into this documentary on Netflix about blue zone countries. So I've got a pretty stacked day. Anyway, I say all this to say, whenever I'm hard on myself about why I'm not married and I don't have kids and I should be further along at 29, almost 30, I wouldn't want to do anything else this Saturday. And I know that you can do all these things when you have kids and you're married, and I understand, but the effortlessness and ease of my life, just kind of focusing on myself and the shashuka I want to make or the Beyonce concert I want to go to, really pays off when I'm hard on myself for not being where society tells me I should be in life.
Okay. All right. So there's the video. I responded to that video, and I saw it floating around, by tweeting this. Her life doesn't revolve around her family and kids, so instead it revolves around TV shows and pop stars. Worst of all, she's too stupid to realize how depressing this is. Now.
Okay. All right. So a lot to unpack there. I want to start with you, Shelly. So you saw the young lady. First, let me preface it by saying this was not a random video that she did. Mm-hmm. She has a lifestyle channel or TikTok or what have you, social media, where this is where she focuses. She focuses on pushing out cultural information and messaging and narratives about, the grandness of not having children, being single and no kids. So what do you think about what she said?
I think this is a hullabaloo about nothing. Number one, this woman is single, 29. Some people don't have children at 29. Some of us didn't have children until after we were 30, right? So I don't see about that problem. She is single. If she wants to get up, let me go back. I forgot to say this. That shashuka, I think it looks disgusting. It looks disgusting. Okay, eat your heart out, but it looks disgusting. Anyway, but I don't think this is a big damn issue. This is her channel. She puts it out. Granted, she puts things out in public. Of course, people are going to comment on it. No problem there. But whether or not she did not say she did not want children. She's basically saying she's enjoying her life and her time right now without children. I don't care for Beyonce. If she wants to go to Beyonce, all go. Shake your thing, whatever that means. Eat the shashuka. But I think this is a hullabaloo about nothing.
What are your thoughts here, T? Is this the aspiration we should have? Her?
Hell no.
Right.
My thoughts are, this is a typical, I don't want to bring a race in it, but typical white girl who has nothing else to do with her life. One of these, oh, look at me, I'm a vegan. I eat quinoa and I do this. I can't talk because our producer is cutting up.
What's wrong with me?
I don't know what I said, but anyway, look at me. I want attention for nothing. Typical type of, these young people that don't have anything else to do with their lives. Maybe she doesn't have a child. She doesn't have a husband. Fine, live your life. We don't want to know about that. Like, I don't care.
Yeah, but I think it's more. I think it is a big deal, and why I say that is because this is not a one-off.
Yes.
So this is the culture that we see really coming up now. It's not like
typical. Right?
This is not this is what they do. It's me. Right. Spa day, facial, selfie. Yeah, no trauma, no pressure, no stress. It's all about me. It should be easy. I don't want to work. If I do work, I don't want to work hard. It's totally different than, I would say, from where our parents or our grandparents were coming up. But my question is, and this is why I asked you this, because it actually, the aspiration now is no longer married with kids.
Right. I agree.
And
with
so
you with that.
the aspiration is her pushing the single life, no kids.
So I
and
will
so
respond.
yeah, and that's what and so that kind of aspiration that we do see in a lot of people these days is it's a deadly aspiration.
I would
That's
say
because they can't get a man and keep a man. It's because women these days are selfish.
Right.
All they care about is themselves. That's why they can't get a man. That's why they don't want to have children, because they're selfish and they want to pretend like, oh, I chose this. No, you didn't choose that life. It's because you can't get it.
I think that's a part of it. No. I think that's a part of it. But I'm also
because
going to
they
say
had so many failed attempts at it.
I would say let's go back a little bit historically. Before social media, as we know it today, before social media, we've always had, of course, single people. Generally speaking, women, in their 20s, they may be going to school. Then they find out a mate, hopefully around 28, 30 years old, give or take, right? But wait a minute, we didn't. No, we didn't. They didn't have social media, right? So the norm was to grow up, get married, have a family, things like that. We didn't have social media. Even if you didn't have children or a husband, you weren't all in the world. Oh, it's all about me. That was not the case. And now we have social media to, amplify it, to make it seem like this is the cool thing to do.
We had that auntie who wasn't married.
To make it seem.
We all had that auntie who wasn't married and had
Right.
children.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Right.
Right. You would have one.
Exactly.
Right. You would have one or two girlfriends. I remember coming up who didn't, weren't sure maybe they wanted kids. It was kind of like something that,
but they were still doing something with their lives,
right? But most of your friends, if at least in the culture, it was a cultural norm to settle down, get married,
that's what I
and
said.
have kids.
Right.
Now the cultural norm is being pushed to narcissism. Even with social media, without these women don't want families. They don't want children. They don't want a husband. They don't want a husband.
I'm going to invest in retirement homes just for those people.
Yeah,
but that's where they're going to end up.
With some dogs.
With some cats and dogs. That's where they're going to end up.
But it's a problem. I mean, we can laugh at this, but this is a serious problem because no society can be sustained on her.
On her. You're right.
That coupled with the LGBT community,
right?
That's why I said earlier, they don't want to procreate.
I'm going to say, I don't know if I've ever said this before, but I'm going to say it now. If somebody does not want to have children for whatever reason, I'm okay that they don't, because I would rather that the children be taken care of and loved by people who do want children. I don't want people just having babies because it is quote unquote the thing to do.
Babies.
No, I'm saying for that fact of it,
yeah. And I'm not talking about compulsion or anything like that. But what I'm talking about is a mindset, where, and not just that, but even like across faith. I mean, part of faith-based culture, organizations, just, community.
Right.
It was, women are mothers, not talking about biological, but you are a mother, and the men are called to be fathers, called to fatherhood. Women are called to motherhood. And we used to have a sense of that was always the end
norm.
Goal.
And that was the norm and the goal. Yes.
Right. And now that is no more. And like you mentioned, coupled with this idea of LGBT, asexual lifestyle, things like that, we have a real problem.
There's a problem. The problem is they want to have sex, but they don't want to procreate.
Right.
They want to be free to do everything that we want to do, or they want to do, but they don't want to do it in guidelines of structure and boundaries.
Right. Yeah, we have Krista says here, I've been married 14 years, been together for 17, and we just couldn't have kids. So I'm happy at least for being a fur baby.
So you're an exception.
That's totally different.
Yes, you're an exception.
That is totally different. There are plenty of couples who cannot have kids.
Right, exactly.
I know some couples in faith relationships, faith communities that did not choose to for whatever reason. But particularly if you cannot, that is totally different, Krista. There's no castigation going you and your husband. That's not what we're saying.
No, not at all.
It is a mindset that that with this lady, whatever her name is, what she's putting out, it is a mindset. I'm saying outside of that mindset, there is a time of just growth and development for women, right? That at 29, if you're not married, then maybe you shouldn't be out just spouting out babies everywhere, every Tom, Dick, and Harry. But
literally,
yeah. Right, that's what I'm saying. And but the mindset is there that children are not important, that children are just kind of like your Gucci bag or your an extra bag on your arm, just for like, oh, I can have them. But I believe that I know, and I'm not saying just because I believe it, children need to be raised and reared in a loving environment with a mom and a dad there, or a mom and a dad present, whether it's not the biological, adoptive, whatever it may be. Right. Children are important. Yeah, children are important. There has to be that. And no society, like you said, can reproduce if we don't reproduce.
And women have, like I said earlier, we become so selfish, but we're the cornerstone of society. We're the ones that nurture our children. We're the ones that raise our children.
Not anymore.
But it's become so toxic that we don't even like men.
Right. So not even
I do.
That's not true over here.
Yeah, I do. Not,
but
I do.
But we've become narcissists. It's become a narcissist. People don't have any purpose.
Right. That's the key. Right.
They don't have any purpose at all. I have here meaning and fulfillment. Right. I mean, a lot of times when you think about it, family, children, husband, they bring you purpose, meaning, and fulfillment. Right. This girl here, she's actually celebrating this lifestyle. And again, if it was a one-off, I would say, okay, you have the one or two. This is the norm now.
Yeah, I found it interesting that her name was Julia. And if you remember, I don't know, a couple of Democrat conventions ago, Obama they had the tape there, the video, The Life of Julia. And Julia was a single mom being taken care of by the government. Again, when the government replaces what was intended to be instituted by family, God, community, whatever faith, when the government replaces that, it doesn't surprise me that many people like this woman think like that. Why would they not? I mean, this is the trajectory. If you think that the government is your all and your be all, then this is what you're going to think.
I blame our mothers and grandmothers, because they're the ones who said, girl, keep your stash. Girl, get your education. Girl, don't depend on these men. Girl, this and that. And they ingrained those things into our brains, not understanding that these other things are just as important. Grandma, you still had 9 children. Mom, you still had, you worked day and night, whatever, because you didn't have a father in the home, because you were a single father. Now you're passing on that cycle to us and that toxicity to us.
The only thing I would say about that, I know they did do that, but they did do that. I agree they did. Our generations did that. I'm not going to say I blame them. I'm putting it in the context of why they said that, because of what they went through. My grandparents came up through the Depression. Her family was out of slavery, things like that. So what they had to struggle and go through. No, I hear what you're saying. They did tell us that. It is just that I think they said those things out of a good place with good intentions, because they wanted, and particularly the women, they wanted you to be protected and have means and things like that to take care of yourself. Yeah, so I'm not going to say I blame them.
But we took that and ran with it.
It was said
in a sense of toxicity. Yeah,
but if you think about it, it was said
I still got my stash.
It's survival, not in weakness.
Yeah,
it was said from a place of weakness, because, and this is what feminism makes weak women. So when you think about it, these women that came out and said those types of things, they were coming from them being single.
I want to put a caveat on that.
They're coming from them being abused,
abandoned,
abused. Exactly.
Yes.
I want to put a caveat on that too.
But that is a place of weakness,
right.
And a lot of times the stronger women were ones that had kids,
right?
That had a husband and things like that, or a mate, or what have you. And so now we're seeing women like her are the output of this, and she's a weak woman. That girl is weak. She doesn't know the idea of even husband, family, kids. That could be a stressful life.
I want to put a caveat on this. I'm sorry. I'm at the point, I'm not going to say I'm angry or whatever, but when we say feminism is the problem. I think distinctions are important here because there are different waves of feminism. What's called feminism today is really not what feminism was and what it started as. So what we have today is a detrimental form of it. So I like to just make those distinctions that not all feminism is the same. It really isn't. And I think for me, at least, it's important that I make those distinctions because there were the early feminists who some of them had families, some of them did not, but they did fight and put their lives on the line, if you will, for suffrage rights, for voting rights, things like that, for good things. And they also supported and advocated for women to nurture and raise their children.
I think that we have to be mindful of, if we're going to go back to history, that most things, laws, movements, whatever, was started for well-intentions. The initial movement was for well-intentions, but people got crazier by the generation, and now here we are with certain things. However, I don't think that women nowadays, they even care about any of that. They're not looking about the future. They're not thinking about the future. They don't even care about the past. They just want to live in the now.
Right.
And that's the problem.
Right.
And you know what, though? I mean, I don't know if it was really started out, if there's a difference
between
old feminists. I understand the movement is different and their intention was different. But when you talk about who was behind the movement, originally it was Marxists. And they infiltrated the system. And so they may not have told these women that were fighting for suffrage and things like that, this was their intention. But the actual people or the puppeteers behind it from the beginning until now, they knew what they were doing. I think I'm going to say it depends on the issue. I think I'm going to say it depends on the issue only because I think of people like Harriet Tubman. She was considered a feminist and she fought to free people from slavery. So I think I'm going to
consider a feminist.
Yeah, she would be considered a feminist in her day.
Because she didn't have children, or
in her day because she was fighting for the right to free people.
Slaves. I'm talking about the actual organized feminist
slaves,
movement.
Shelley.
You can't even compare that.
I said I'm going to talk about. No, it is. It is. Yes, you can compare that. Yes, you can.
I'm not talking about
some qualities and some issues. I'm not saying as the movement that Harriet Tubman.
We're talking about the movement.
Herself.
We're talking about the movement.
No, I'm saying that to say. I'm going to say yes to what you're saying, but I'm also going to make another distinction and base it on the issue and different people. Because to say that all feminists from the beginning, they what did you say? You said it was they were being controlled by Marxists.
The feminist movement was controlled by Marxists
in New York and Seneca Falls. That's what you're talking about. All the historical parts. But I'm saying that there are other quote unquote, I guess, versions of feminists, whatever, in the historical context, not just all at Seneca Falls. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I see what you're saying,
but
and I understand that the idea of these women that were, heroes in multiple movements throughout our lifetime, but the actual feminist movement, when it was coined, was started by Marxists. I'm not talking about
got it.
For women to have rights.
Right.
You're not talking about that part.
No. Okay. Yeah. We're talking about the actual feminist movement.
And I'm going to hold you to that Harriet Tubman comparison because that's a stretch.
That's feminism wasn't even around back then.
No,
the actual name.
I'm talking about some of the characteristics and qualities. How we brought.
You're calling her a feminist. She didn't call herself one.
Right. Okay, I go with that. But I'm saying how we broad brush everything, quote unquote, feminist as all bad. I'm just putting different people in different movements, contacts, issues, whatever. But you're right. She didn't call herself that.
No. Okay. All right. We are moving right along.
I don't know what we're supposed to do.
We're moving right along to our last and final clip of the night. This was breaking news out, I believe, today, of a wedding party, a massive brawl in Rhode Island where a wedding party fought the police. Take a look at this clip.
Hey, name your badge number. Name your badge number. Hey, back up. Name your badge number. What? God. Yo, Coops. Coops, get over here, bro. Oh my God. Kubi, get back. Kubi.
You saw that. He touched my wife. He had no video.
Oh my God. You just knocked her out, bro. You knocked her out, bro. You just knocked her out. Call the fucking cops. Dude, her head just hit the pavement. Her head just hit the pavement, bro.
Wow. So why don't people stand down anymore? I do not understand the concept of trying to fight the police.
Go ahead. People don't trust the police anymore.
That's true.
But
based on all of the police neglect, or what's the word they call it? Brutality. The police brutality that's happened to Black people.
It's not factual. It's not
that many.
To
Not
Black
that many.
people don't trust. They created this movement of don't trust the police, and not most times, but sometimes, like I know in New York City anyway, they really don't mess with the police at all. And sometimes I've seen cases where it's justified.
But you're not justifying this.
I'm not justifying that. I'm just saying people don't respect the police.
I would agree they don't respect the police in general. This general sense of authority, and the police represent the government. So I think it goes back. I mean, maybe adds to that.
But they like
right?
the government, though.
It's still on some sides of distrust, and then but you're right. They don't. There's this general distrust of the police. They think they go too far. Maybe they don't have to arrest and apprehend people the way they do. But this particular thing, I had a question. I was wondering why nobody got shot.
Based on police brutality.
Well, I mean, honestly, the numbers don't reflect that. More white people are killed by police than Blacks.
Right, that's true.
Unarmed. So,
but more Black people have more encounters with them.
Right.
We also
and
have
so it just
more
makes it
white
even
people,
more crazy
because we
because
also have more white people in the country.
Right, but Black police encounter more Black people in arrests and confrontations than white,
and not killing them.
Right,
the media hyper sensitizes that or whatever. But I was just wondering, how come nobody got shot? But I love that he cold cocked that woman. Oh my gosh, he laid her right out. I love it.
Yeah, I mean, it just to me, it's just like it's unnecessary.
Why is it? What's unnecessary?
No, not cold cocking her. I'm just talking about the whole thing. It's just like, to me, it's just like, stand down. Stand down.
You think
they can overthrow?
Cold cocking her was unnecessary?
I mean, for a man to do that to a woman in general,
she was jumping on him.
There are ways that if he's trained well, there are ways that he should be able
it was several of them beating up the police.
It was more people than the police.
Yeah.
I saw it.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's just I don't understand why people don't stand down. I keep saying that.
Yeah,
that was so uncalled for. It's just
I think they all should have been locked up.
Yeah.
I hope that I don't know what they were. I only saw that clip. I don't know what happened after that, but I hope they were all taken to the central booking and fingerprinted and given a mugshot that maybe they can put on a t-shirt next week too.
Yeah. Imagine that being your wedding. Well, you had a whole police brawl at your wedding. I bet that'll go in the
brawls are happening like,
it's loosely speaking brawls.
No, I'm saying, but brawls are happening like I seem like every day now. Like over the stupidest
people do
things.
not respect authority. People do not respect authority at all.
Well,
it's chaos everywhere. It used to be a time where you could have a situation where people were, in some type of brawl confrontation. But when a person of authority, not just the police, but a teacher,
right,
or a security guard, right, or an adult, if there was children, it's something like that. They come in and they say stop or settle down, and people would do it.
But okay,
no more.
I'm not challenging you. We started off early talking about the government and all whatever, the taking over. So I don't think people will understand the difference between legitimate and illegitimate authority, and I think the lines have been so blurred. And maybe, like you're saying, because we go to one extreme to another, they don't understand that. Yeah, a police officer duly sworn is legitimate authority, but I mean, we just go to the extreme. I don't think people know the distinction, because there is a time to disobey authority.
Well, people don't do it, and this is what I'm saying. It's not even like you mentioned, T. You have this narrative pushed by the left that the police are the enemy. Mm-hmm. And so when you have that situation within cities like this in Baltimore City and things like that, you have total anarchy.
Right.
And I'm not saying, there are times when but you don't have this. When we were talking about earlier, as far as the government,
the government is an authority,
right? But it's different because it's not
3 branches of the government.
The government in general they are legitimate authorities, and I'm saying that to say that people don't know when to not obey or to obey. I'm just saying it's a bunch of confusion. It's a bunch of confusion.
Earlier we were talking about them encroaching on our rights.
So if
this was not encroached on. Rights were not encroached on
here. But to these people, they're thinking that the police, like T said, nobody respects the police anymore. So they're thinking that anything a police does to them, it's encroaching on their rights. I'm saying that the lines have been blurred. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah,
well, what I'm saying is, going back to the last topic, I'm going to say that people don't respect authority because they don't have their fathers in their home, because all these women are living their soft lives and don't want to have children or just want to have baby daddies or just whatever. They're just doing whatever they want to do. So people don't understand what authority looks like.
That's what I'm
because they weren't raised to understand what authority looks like.
Yeah, you're right. So
they can overthrow just anybody or disrespect anybody.
They were trying to overthrow the police.
Yeah. Right. Well, we're all out of order. I've said that last week. Everything is out of order. The patriarchy, the matriarchy. No one is
the childrenarchy.
Yeah, right. Everything is out of order, and no one is paying attention.
Teachers want to date the students, and screw them, and all kinds of stuff.
Everything.
Yeah, it really is.
It really is. And you're right. Things are so out of order. If you want to talk about this pendulum, now things are too much out of order that we don't know. I'm saying we collectively, we don't know what the lines are, where the demarcations should be. At one time they were over here. Now the pendulum is swung so much over here. So there's no balance, if you will, to say that, okay, this is a clear line. No, don't do this. Yes, do this.
And they get upset. They get upset with us conservatives and Republicans because we feel like there is a blueprint to structure and family and all these things. And they're like, oh, that's the old times. You just want to stay stuck in the old days. But it worked.
Yeah.
Now that you're trying to get out of that is when we're creating chaos for the whole world.
Yeah, it is. It is. And the order is there.
Yeah.
I mean, the lines are there.
Clearly.
But people just don't want to respect them.
And here we're going to the end of the world. They've always said the end of the world. It's only going to get worse. Y'all hopeful. Y'all are hopeful that it's going to get better.
50, like I was saying.
I'm going to be out of here by the time it gets worse anyway. So I just hope and try to prepare my children and future generations to be smart and not fall for this crap.
Yeah.
That's all we can do.
That's all we can do. So we are at the end of the show tonight. It looks like we did have a commenter.
Was it Lorraine?
Loopy Lefty on here somewhere.
Is that her name on there?
It was Lorraine. We saw you, Lorraine.
Yeah, we saw. We didn't. I don't know.
Lorraine, if you're still listening, put your comment back on there. Oh, there it is.
Oh,
that's
panel paid by the traitorous MAGA politicians. Sad. Are you talking about us?
I wish you would pay for MAGA.
Pay me.
Please
pay me.
Trump. Call me.
Stop lying. What were we lying about, Lorraine? Trump is a criminal. Black ladies, stop supporting the white. I can't see it. White supremacy Trump. He is a
white
traitor.
Supremacy?
Yeah, what is a white supremacy Trump? Are you kidding? How many white Democrats have you voted for, Lorraine? Get a grip. Let's answer that. How many white are they white? Is it the color or because of what he stands for? The very fact that you are on this channel and we are allowing you to comment, bullshit to you too. Screw you too, Lorraine. Well, Trump didn't lie. I'm sorry.
We want you to comment, Lorraine.
No, I'm saying we allowing her space to comment. Ain't nobody traitorous over here, no MAGA. Bullshit to her.
I wish I was.
I wonder if she said that to Democrat Al Sharpton. Trump paid for Rainbow. I'm sorry, what's his name? Jackson. He paid for
Jesse Jackson.
Thank you, Krista.
Yeah.
Thank you. I know Krista handled it. Yeah. I'm sure Krista got it. You got it, girl.
Because Trump was friends with Jesse Jackson, Al Sharpton, Oprah Winfrey. They were all fine with him when he was checking the box. Checking the box for Democrats.
They loved him some Trump.
He started speaking out.
Lorraine, show me a city where your Democrats, whether they're white or black, show me a city that's thriving, where the children and are not people not being murdered and slaughtered, where your taxes are lower, where your borders are safe. Show us. Show me the money.
Show us the money. That was a very
damn right. We're MAGA. I'm MAGA too. Make America great again and make Lorraine irrelevant.
Oh, well, can we just make rainbows innocent again? Can we go back to giving us our rainbows? We want our rainbows.
Again, like I said, I mean, Lorraine, I mean, I say this. Oh my gosh, I wouldn't say that. But I mean, you do sound like what I mentioned earlier, monkey. Somebody that
see, you talking about you didn't say that, but you gonna call it donkey.
Somebody that likes to be behind the cage. You know, where they feed you and they bathe you and they tell you when to pee and they tell you when to go to the.
They tell you cut it off midstream.
Yeah,
while
you
pee,
sound like one of those. I hope you're not. I hope she's not, Lorraine.
Yeah.
Lorraine, I hope you're not. But you do
Yeah,
sound.
right, Jeff.
Look out the window, Lorraine.
Unicorns and clowns. That's what they sound like.
You sound like a Democrat monkey. So. I hope
Period.
that's not the case.
Oh, that's a jackass.
That's what they are.
I don't want to call it that.
You call her a monkey?
Yeah, I call her a monkey.
I said jackass.
So again, we do have to wrap it up.
We do obey men.
But come back next week, Lorraine. We love talking to you.
Bring your friends too.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure Krista and all the people in the comments.
We love talking to you.
Right, we gotta wrap up.
All right, now, ladies. Yes, we are ladies. So again, thank you so much for watching, guys. We certainly appreciate this. Each time, continue to comment, please subscribe, share this broadcast. Each time you do comment and subscribe, it makes our voice that much stronger. We are an independent media, and we certainly appreciate the support. All these mainstream medias out there, they, just as this woman Lorraine mentioned, they're bought and paid for. We are not. We are independent.
We would like to be bought and paid for.
For real.
So please continue to subscribe and
she don't know.
Please appreciate
pay
the
for us.
support.
You think that hurts? I think that's an insult.
No, pay for us, please.
All right. So we are at the end of our time. Thanks again for watching.
That's how they think. That's why they don't know. That's how they think.
KJ's trying to wrap up.
Yeah. Until next time,
well, I can't say
live a life of purpose. Good night.
That's what I'm saying. I know what you meant.
Bye.
Bye, Lorraine. See you next week.